Love him or hate him, Donald Trump is one of the most polarizing figures in modern history. But with great notoriety comes great misinformation. Have you ever stopped questioning if some of the headlines you've read about him are true? We're debunking the biggest lies ever told about Donald Trump, and some of these might just blow your mind. Debunking claims of racism, Trump's actions toward the black community. One of the most pervasive accusations against Donald Trump is that he holds racist views, particularly toward black Americans. However, his statements and actions tell a much more nuanced story. For instance, during a discussion about police brutality following George Floyd's death, Trump responded to a question about why African Americans die at the hands of police by pointing out, "So do white people." More white people, by the way. This response, while criticized, highlighted an often overlooked fact: police brutality affects all races, though at low statistical rates. Critics framed his response as dismissive, but the data supports his statement. His larger point emphasized that police misconduct is not solely a racial issue, but a systemic problem. Another widely criticized comment was Trump's question to black voters during his 2016 campaign: "What do you have to lose?" Critics called it condescending, but Trump was pointing to decades of Democratic leadership in cities plagued by poverty, underfunded schools, and high unemployment rates, urging voters to consider alternative approaches. Trump's actions also refute accusations of racism. He launched opportunity zones to encourage investment in low-income, predominantly black communities. He worked with Kim Kardashian on criminal justice reform, leading to the release of black prisoners. Trump even met with the founder of Black Entertainment Television to discuss solutions for the black community. Personal interactions also paint a different picture. Numerous black figures who have met Trump, including former supporters of other parties, attest that he does not exhibit racism in their experiences. These actions suggest a commitment to bridging racial divides, contrary to public accusations. Trump's record with the LGBTQ+ community. Donald Trump's stance on LGBTQ+ issues has been a point of controversy. Critics claim his administration pursued anti-LGBTQ+ policies, but Trump's actions and personal interactions suggest a more complex narrative. During his presidency, Trump made a public commitment to protect LGBTQ+ citizens. At a campaign event, he stated, "As your president, I will do everything in my power to protect our LGBTQ citizens from the violence and oppression of a hateful foreign ideology." Despite this pledge, some policies implemented under his administration were criticized. For instance, his Department of Justice argued that Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits sex discrimination, does not extend to transgender workers. This decision, however, revolved around debates over gender identity rather than sexual orientation, highlighting the ongoing divide between LGB and transgender rights. On the personal front, Trump's actions contradict accusations of homophobia. Earlier this year, he hosted a gay wedding at his Mar-a-Lago resort, showing inclusivity through action. Many LGBTQ+ individuals who have interacted with Trump report no signs of prejudice. For example, one openly gay commentator noted that Trump has consistently surrounded himself with people of diverse races and sexual orientations. Critics often overlook these personal gestures, focusing solely on political decisions. Yet for many LGBTQ+ individuals, these actions reinforce that Trump's personal views do not align with the accusations of homophobia frequently leveled against him. This nuanced record suggests his approach is far from the one-sided portrayal often seen in media narratives. Debunking claims about Trump and IVF. Some statements suggest that Donald Trump opposes in vitro fertilization and seeks to restrict access to it. These claims have sparked concerns among families relying on fertility treatments to conceive. But what does Trump's record show? Contrary to the allegations, Trump has publicly supported in vitro fertilization and fertility treatments. In a speech, he emphasized, "We should make it easier for mothers and families to have babies, not harder," including supporting the availability of fertility treatments like in vitro fertilization in every state in America. His statement reflects a commitment to ensuring that fertility treatments remain accessible nationwide. This narrative contrasts sharply with claims accusing him of undermining reproductive rights. Such misinformation perpetuates a divisive discourse, where political agendas often overshadow facts. The spread of these inaccuracies showcases a troubling trend, misrepresenting policies and personal beliefs to sway public opinion. The broader issue here is the challenge of separating truth from political rhetoric. Many critics who oppose Trump frequently overlook or dismiss actions that align with progressive ideals. The Russian collusion narrative. One of the most explosive allegations against Trump was that his 2016 presidential campaign colluded with Russia to influence the election. The media ran with this story for years, but what's the truth? The Mueller report found no evidence of a criminal conspiracy between Trump's campaign and Russian officials. While it did highlight Russian interference in the election, the report explicitly stated that it did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired with the Russian government. The Russia collusion narrative was largely based on unverified claims, leading to years of investigations that ultimately fell flat in proving criminal wrongdoing on Trump's part. Trump's statements on immigration, misunderstood or misrepresented. Donald Trump's controversial remarks about immigrants, particularly from Mexico, have been widely criticized. In his announcement speech, Trump stated, "When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people." These comments sparked outrage, with critics claiming he painted all Mexicans as criminals. But does this critique hold up under scrutiny? Trump clarified that he wasn't targeting the Mexican people or their race, but referring to individuals crossing the US-Mexico border illegally. He pointed out that many immigrants come not just from Mexico, but from various countries worldwide. Trump raised concerns about inadequate border control, which could allow criminals, including gang members and terrorists, to enter the country undetected. Supporting Trump's claims, recent reports from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection highlight arrests of migrants with prior criminal convictions. In the El Paso sector alone, over 80 migrants with histories of violent crimes, including homicide and sexual offenses, were apprehended. Some had ties to gangs, while others were wanted for murder in their home countries. The media narrative often ignores these specifics, focusing instead on framing Trump's comments as blanket statements against Mexicans. However, his remarks align with ongoing issues at the southern border, where criminal activities among a subset of migrants pose genuine concerns. So, what's the takeaway here? Whether you're a Trump supporter or a critic, it's essential to approach controversial claims with a healthy dose of skepticism. Media narratives can distort the truth, and the only way to understand the full picture is to look beyond the headlines. What do you think? Did any of these truths surprise you? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that digs deep into the facts.